All right, guys. Let's get into it because we got a lot to talk about today, y'all. Holy smokes. Box office for summer movies has been really bad. I mean, honestly, it's been pretty bad lately. You've had good ones like Spider-Verse squeak through, but for the most part, and Transformers is still having legs as well, but for the most part, like, it's been rough. Indiana Jones 5 open bad. Flash open bad. So, guys, we'll be talking about it. Oh, and that Ruby Gilman movie barely opened at all. But, guys, we'll be talking about that today and a lot more. But before we get into the discussion, let me get my co-host in here, man. What's going on, Lo? How are you today?
Good evening. I am trying my best to keep it together. I am melting here in Northern California. It's a hot summer day. The season finally has arrived. You know what? Do we even have seasons anymore, Leo? I feel like what's summer, right? What's spring? It's all the same now, man. Everything just is mixed together. You're on mute, brother.
Yeah, it all meshes together at this point, but yeah, it's been a melting pot lately here as well. So we've been melting, man, but dude, we're gonna hold it together. We're gonna get to some good, juicy news. But first and foremost, we got a couple people in the comments. Laser pulling up in his sister's account. What's going on, Laser? And
What's up?
Isaac, what's up, man? Good to see
How you doing,
from over
Isaac?
at the Amateur Otaku. Thank you so much for stopping by. But guys, we're gonna get to our first segment with. All right, guys, let's get to our first segment with 1 to 10. Rate your hype on these upcoming movies. Guys, I did not even prepare a banner, but we are going to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's, guys. And whew, this is one that a lot of people have been anticipating, and it is starring Josh Hutcherson, Elizabeth Lail, who, if you don't know, she is Guinevere Beck over on You Season 1, and then Matthew Lillard. And Lo, how do you feel, man? I honestly haven't even watched the full trailer. Maybe we'll watch it if we both haven't seen it. How you feeling, though?
Oh, dude. I actually watched it with my son, and it's exciting. He might actually watch it. He's usually a scaredy cat, but he knows the games. He knows all the characters. He knew every single name of every single animatronic, which is pretty cool. I like the vibe. I really like the setup, the production design, and the production quality is actually surprisingly like really strong. I think when I heard about Five Nights at Freddy's, I was worried we were gonna get a cheap like production and it was gonna look
I
terrible.
know.
But
Yeah, it seems like a little bit of a weird thing to adapt.
yeah, but at the same time, like, Josh Hutcherson's I've liked him in everything I've seen him in. It's nice to see Matthew Lillard back. And I like the vibe from both the teaser and the trailer. It looks promising for,
It really does.
For a kiddie jump scare game. It looks fun.
Yeah, I will say Blumhouse. Blumhouse actually is like a little shaky. They could be good, they could be kind of bad, but I mean, listen, for the most part, they've had some hitters. So I I'll have to wait and see. I don't know. I'm a little shaky just because video game properties are so back and forth. And recently, Halo, ooh, that was really, really bad in my opinion. But recently there's been a lot. But yeah, let's see. Sonic was good. It's just so back and forth. So honestly, man, what are you going out of 10? We got JHC 10. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Is that an 8.7?
Someone that's completely unfamiliar with the games, other than like the little clips I see on YouTube, I'm at like a good 6.5, 6. Like I'll probably watch it, but I mean, I'm not a fan of the franchise, so I don't have any expectation. And then if anything, the trailer sold me to see it versus skip it. So
yeah, man, I understand. I'm gonna go watch the trailer after this. I'll go watch it, or maybe we can pull it up. But I'm
I was
so
gonna
nervous
say
we'll get. I'm so
it's not
nervous we'll
hella
get
long. You could probably throw it on.
I just don't want to risk a block because that one
I feel you.
blocked the full stream for Netflix. So I'm like, I wish we could, but I don't know. After that, I'm a little skittish. What's going on, Wesley? Honestly, thought it'd be Willy's Wonderland budget minus Nick Cage. It looks surprisingly good. Still seeing Saw X over it though. Yeah, I hear that. Man. But for me, I think I'm sitting at like a 7 out of 10, just knowing and seeing the teaser and knowing Josh Hutcherson's in it, knowing Matthew Lillard's in it. Glad to get him back in some horror. So I'm definitely at a 7 out of 10. Safe, play it safe. But this next one, Loretto. Dude, did you see that trailer? Let me know what you thought, because I'm ready to eat this up. This one.
Well, as someone that saw the first Dune in theaters like 3 times, I was just overjoyed with the production. I knew how crazy this one was going to be because, I mean, aside from me, I saw the David Lynch version, which combined parts 1 and 2 into one really overbloated, weird David Lynch movie. But I actually knew the second part was going to be really exciting. And man, Denis is delivering in the goods. We got some action-packed sequences finally. I know the first part is kind of like a build-up to what happens in part 2. So we're gonna get a lot more Zendaya, and of course that luscious Hans Zimmer score, man. I can't wait. I think this could be the movie of the year for me. I mean, just the way it's looking. So
yeah, I 100% agree. This is looking so good. Larry said, I'm not trying to catch that block, but yes, the Hans Zimmer score, and so many different things. Like there's just so many aspects. Like you've got what's his face, Austin Butler looking completely different, Christopher Walken, even just getting him, man, as the emperor, that gravitas, that weight into that. It's just so good. It's so good, man. So I am honestly so excited for this. I can't wait. Honestly, I really can't wait. I think even Chalamet looks good. Like honestly, Zendaya, like all these lines delivered. And you know what's crazy, Lo, is this costs less than Indiana Jones, and visually it looks better. Like the CG in Dune is just incredible. I mean, especially first one.
That's baffling, and we're going to talk about that later on tonight. But
wow, holy smokes! All right, bro. Take it away, man. We are moving on quick to our next segment, baby. We going to the roundup. The roundup, man. All right, Lo, take us away, man.
Without further ado, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny has opened at number 1 at the box office with a $130 million worldwide haul. And while that sounds good on paper, overall, this weekend's box office numbers were just way down. And then, yes, Indiana Jones does open at number 1, but it opens to a pretty mild 60 mil. Just in comparison, I mean, Guardians had a pretty decent run at 75 mil, so it's a little bit under that. And obviously, Super Mario Brothers that's the benchmark. That's probably not going to get cleared for the rest of the year, if we're being honest. But for what it's worth, I think numbers are just down in general. The top 5 was, I think it was Indiana 1, Across the Spider-Verse, which is maintaining some legs here. Love to see it. Across the Spider-Verse was at 2, Elemental at 3, and I believe Transformers at 4. And No Hard Feelings, I think, is at 5. And believe this, guys, The Flash has completely dropped out of the top 5. We'll talk about that in just a second. But I think, we meant to bring this up the last couple of shows. We kept forgetting to get to it. But Leo, I think this is a good time. Is the box office like summer market, especially in June? I think, are we dealing with oversaturation of just too many things to see? It feels like all of these films are hurting each other, and none of these films are actually running away with any sort of box office numbers. What do you think about all that, Leo?
Dude, it's crazy, bro. Like, honestly, I'll be honest with you, bro. The box office is overinflated right now. And it's like we've been talking over and over and over. We've been saying this, bro. There's so much going on, but at the same time, there is a lack of synergy with movie going. Like, unfortunately, we've just gotten to the point, bro, where people are willing to wait for streaming with a lot of stuff. When it comes to Indiana Jones, there's like a real nervousness with the franchise because of what happened with Crystal Skull. People are a little bit skeptic. They don't know. Those first 3 are so beloved, but Crystal Skull was like really the first stain. So I know that it creates a little bit of nervousness. However, on the same token, the big fans are the ones that are really going, but they're not showing up in droves. Even the big fans are like, hey, I'm totally willing to just go ahead and wait for streaming, like, especially after Crystal Skull. So, it's not that surprising for indie, but Flash, this is its 3rd week at the box office and it's out of the top 5. Dude, did I see it was out of the top 10?
Yeah, man. And really quick, what's up, Colby? Thanks for joining us.
What's going on, man?
Larry brings up a good point, which brings us actually to our next slide, Larry. So Ruby Gillman misses the entire top 5, debuting with 5.2 mil, which is the worst opening ever for a DreamWorks film. That's actually our next topic, Larry. Thank you. Look, I'm gonna be honest. When I saw the trailer for Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken, the animation looked okay, but it definitely felt like a Netflix film. And no offense to any films that go straight to Netflix, like, I'm not trying to dump on that, but I mean, Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken didn't feel like a film I would run to see in theaters. And also, like, the mermaid thing, I think it was just a really bad timing. It's like, we just got The Little Mermaid, which is still in theaters. It just makes me wonder if the families and kids are running to see another mermaid movie. This one didn't appeal to me very much. I know they're trying to make the Krakens like almost superhero like. She has like all these powers and stuff, but the trailer didn't convince me. I had no interest in watching this. And when I saw the DreamWorks logo, I was surprised because it just definitely felt like a step down in quality compared to like How to Train Your Dragon or Shrek or what's their other big one, Kung Fu Panda. Like, and I'm not even the biggest Kung Fu Panda fan, but this feels like this feels like a step down, man. And I'm not surprised at all. I mean, what do you think about? Or did you have any interest in Ruby Gillman when you saw the trailer, Leo?
Not at all, guys. I'm gonna be real with you. This one is like one rarity. I love animated movies. I love animation. I love so many different animated films like Coco and Lion King. And these are movies that I'm just talking are just wonderful, phenomenal films. Unfortunately, and DreamWorks, man, they've been on a roll with Puss in Boots. I mean, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish was phenomenal. I mean, one of the best in the Shrek franchise. But I saw this trailer and it just didn't pique my interest. And I'm like reading the list of the cast, and I'm like, yo, Annie Murphy, Rita Moreno, who was the young lady that plays Ruby? I don't quite remember her name. Let me just look up Ruby Gillman cast. Y'all let us know. Lana Condor.
Oh,
She's
I love her.
bigger and bigger,
Condor,
man.
and I think Jane Fonda's in it too, right?
Yeah, I think so. If I'm not mistaken, Toni Collette is in this thing. Like, I'm just like, okay.
What's up, Joe-san?
Yeah, it's not Rita. It's Jane Fonda. I don't know why I said Rita Moreno. I was thinking about Fast X, but yeah, it just doesn't for whatever reason. I'm just not interested. I think it's the look, man. Honestly, I think it's the design. It just looks uninspired. Yeah, and it's a story that again we've seen before.
Yes, that's the word. Like, it looked very uninspired. It looked like a million different movies we've seen before. Teenage girl in high school figuring it out, and it's like, after Puss in Boots, it's like, really, DreamWorks? Like, it just this felt like it could have went straight to streaming or something like that, you know? So
Straight to streaming, bro. But honestly, I wonder if this will do better on streaming. It makes me wonder because Larry, I watched his review and it sounded like it was a worthwhile, decent animated film. I wonder if it could have potential to have legs because we know Universal, y'all, they ain't gonna slack. They'll throw this right up on streaming. They don't care. So maybe it has potential to do better on streaming. I don't know. What do you think, Lo?
well, to be honest, and then this actually kind of links into where how we started the conversation is, again, why release this film in this month? Like, and I put Elemental in the middle there as an example that Elemental flopped already. I mean, they fell on their face. And then DreamWorks is going to go ahead and throw their name in the hat. Like, hey, let's put Ruby Gilman out at the end of June. Maybe people will watch it. No, you guys barely made 5 mil. It just seems like this month especially was just way too crowded. I threw the Flash on the picture there. Obviously, they're done. The Flash is not making any more money despite the buy one get one free offer. I think audiences said hard pass. And I don't think it's gonna stop because I mean, in July, what do we got? We got Mission Impossible coming up. I mean,
Yeah, we
not
got
enough
a
of these
lot around
films.
the corner.
Not enough films are getting enough time to build legs, and just there's too much to see. And also, it makes me wonder how dedicated audiences are to see all these summer movies right now. So, like I said, the numbers have been down just across the board. I mean, number one is 60 mil from Indiana Jones. It's kind of like not the highest number we've seen. So
No. And Larry has a great point here. So many great animated films already. I mean, Spider-Verse taking off on Netflix currently. Nimona is doing very well. You've got so many. I know I'm leaving one out. Suzume did great in the anime sphere. I mean, honestly, just in this year alone, animation is doing a phenomenal job. We got TMNT later in the year. Like, we're getting fed, man. We're getting fed. Hey, what's going on, John Williams? The composer's in the house, y'all.
John Williams, loved your score for Indiana Jones, man. You're the greatest of all time.
You're the greatest.
No, but to speak on that though, see, just the fact that you mentioned that, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I mean, besides the fact I'm a big fan, it looks a million times better than Ruby Kraken looks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even for comparison, I heard some people joke that it was Turning Red underwater. Turning Red was amazing, and it looked a lot better than what the trailer was for Ruby Gilman. So it's just like, it's not up to snuff. If you're gonna come out with an animated film these days, you gotta do something exciting, different, something fresh, something that will wow us. And this wasn't it.
Yeah, this was not it at all, man. I'm like looking at this and I'm like, yeah, just looking at stills. Look at Elemental right next to it. It's fluid. It's got just a sheen to it. Ruby Gilman just looks uninspired. And I don't know where I'm hearing all this like Little Mermaid comparison. That's not like the Little Mermaid at all.
No, and what's interesting,
I think it's just because of mermaids in the trailer.
Right. No, and what's interesting is I think that's the only thing I liked about it was that they made the mermaids the villains. But what's annoying is that they did the trope like, oh, the mermaids are the cool girls, and it just kind of felt contrived, like, oh, the mermaids are the mean girls. You know, like that's what it felt like.
Right. Oh, Wesley says praying Mission Impossible does well, but I have a feeling Oppenheimer. I think Barbie might actually come in at projection. I'm thinking that one because we've already checked screenings. We're going to see Barbie together in a couple months for Comic-Con, baby.
Couple weeks. It's
couple weeks. Yeah, couple weeks. Excuse me. And the theater is already almost sold out. So I mean, I think Barbie may come in just at or maybe a little shy. Oppenheimer sounding like it's not going to do well.
Yeah, see, I think that's going to say a lot about this summer season for the movies, at least. How Barbie and Oppenheimer will fare. And honestly, I agree with you. I don't think Oppenheimer is going to do as well as I would like. But, I mean, just the way things are projecting right now. So let's say what's up to John really quick. How you doing, John? Thanks for joining us.
Good seeing you, John Lee.
Mission Impossible is not making $1 billion. I'm sorry. Like, Top Gun was amazing, but I mean, I just don't see it. I mean, especially with the way the market is right now. I don't think so.
Yeah. Nah, and this G. Colby had a great comment here with Mission Impossible, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Haunted Mansion in July, TMNT, and Blue Beetle in August. These movies, if they're not great, they're gonna get trampled over. Like if you're not of Spider-Verse, if you're not a Creed, if you're not you're getting trampled on, bro. Like it's just if you're not a good movie, you're gonna get trampled on. And speaking of our last story, Indiana Jones, unfortunately, it's coming in mixed. It's coming in mixed, man, and we're gonna talk about it later on in the show, but it's coming in mixed, man. Honestly, I've seen some people love it. I've seen some people hate it, and I've seen some people right in between. I'm right in between. I'm in the kind of not as satisfied area, but I'm not quite like, oh my god, it was horrible. No, it wasn't Crystal Skull, but I have some issues. But yeah, man, it's a crowded market, it's a loaded marketplace. Do you think this has to do with it a little bit too? Poking fun at the Little Mermaid, kind of like Shrek
that's the funny
does.
thing is they strategically put this trailer before the Little Mermaid. So that was my first time seeing what this film was going to be. And to be honest, it just made me feel like, really? Like, I mean, look, I get it. DreamWorks likes to poke fun at Disney once in a while, but it definitely felt in poor taste. And it definitely felt like they're jumping on the train with the mermaid thing. So if anything, I didn't find it funny. I just found it kind of like, oh, really? You guys are going to go that route? You know, it's kind of like Shark Tale and Finding Nemo. We all know how that went. So it's like when you get those two movies that are kind of similar to each other, there's always one that comes out a winner there. And, you know.
And it wasn't Shark Tale.
Jaren's, that's a new face in here. He said no one's going to go see a Nolan. This is actually a good point. I love Christopher Nolan, and he's a widely acclaimed, well-deserved, talented filmmaker, but he doesn't always... His films aren't always like breaking box office numbers. I think his biggest hit obviously was like the Batman series, but that was because it was a superhero film. But most of his other films kind of just do okay. I think Inception did well, but you know, he's not making... I don't know if this is going to make a bill. I doubt it. And I don't even know if he's ever gotten close. Maybe you could vet that for me, Leo. I think Dark Knight got close, but
yeah, I was looking at some box office figures here, and I'm just looking at Dunkirk.
Because you know what I mean, Nolan's not James Cameron. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, no offense.
Yeah.
Like James Cameron, sometimes
that's Spielberg, a great comparison.
You know?
Yeah, Spielberg has hits. Like, Spielberg's got some box office big, huge ones. But yeah, I think Dark Knight is like his biggest one. Inception made a hell of a lot of money as well. Yeah. But like Dunkirk, well, obviously Tenet was not going to make money during the pandemic. But I think some things, just like what's happening with Aquaman 2, it's a little late. Unfortunately, Tenet's last movie was during the pandemic, so it's just like 3 years later. I'm kind of with you, Jared. It's not that nobody's going to see it. I just think it's going to be the film bro movie and not quite. Yeah, see,
but Dark Knight did go over $1 billion.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They made money.
But see, that's at the same time, though, it's like, I don't think people went to those because it was Christopher Nolan. I think they were watching it because it was a Batman movie. So.
Yeah, there was definitely a little bit of Batman influence going on with that. So I definitely think that had to do with it, but also like the amazing word of mouth. And see, this is what word of mouth does for you, because it did not do it for The Flash. But that amazing performance by Heath Ledger, everybody was talking about that, man.
And, you know, to be fair, I think getting $1 billion, besides the fact that it's getting more and more unrealistic with people not going to the movies, I think there's a formula for it. Like, you got to have good word of mouth. You got to have a good Rotten Tomatoes score. You got to have a pretty strong critic backing behind it so you could show it off in your marketing. And honestly, sometimes you just got to get lucky. Like, I think Mario just got lucky with just having no competition. I think Top Gun last year just got lucky and had legs for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, like throughout the whole summer. You just got to have the right timing and the right movie.
100%. Yeah, the right timing, right movie. Well, Larry is putting us to shame here a little. We've got Inception at 870, Interstellar at 770. So, and here's one thing I want to say about Christopher Nolan is that he really debuted and came to life in an era where we were kind of going back to directors who did movies. And I think that there was just this vast interest from the early 2000s all the way to like 27, like I would say all the way till like mid 2010s, where it was just like, okay, it's a Nolan film, okay, it's a Cameron film. It was circling back around to that phenomena of cinema back in like the days of like the 40s and 50s, the Hitchcock days, the Hitchcockian stuff, where it was like,
Tarantino was
okay,
really
you
active in that
had,
decade too.
yeah, very active. So it was like, yeah, you had a Tarantino film. It was like you associated with directors, and then really the superhero genre kind of broke that open. And luckily, Nolan was a part of that. So it was like, okay, Nolan scooped in the superhero stuff with The Dark Knight. Then he was able to continue with Interstellar. And yeah, I think with Tenet, people are everybody's starting to be like, hey, I will just wait for streaming. By the way, what's going on, Andrew? Good to see you, man. Happy 4th.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah, man. I don't know if there's a solution to this, but the market's definitely oversaturated and people aren't showing up. I think that's the bottom line here. As a film fan, I hope it gets better. But this might just be the new normal, which is really sad for the industry. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I don't know if there's a fix for this.
Honestly, Lo, I think the fix is some of these studios, maybe not all of them. I think Universal might. They're going to start getting a little pickier on what goes to streaming.
Right.
Quick. Like, we're going to start closing windows down. And
if anything, I think it's going to be a sad day when we go to the theaters and the only thing in theaters are MCU or blockbusters or, like very select niche films. And we might see like a lot of the more, ambitious indie art house stuff just not even make it in. And that's going to be a sad day. I really hope we don't get there.
Ooh, well, okay. I hope not. Don't. Oh, no. Well, I don't know if we'll fall quite in that direction, but I think just kind of like some of the tent poles are going to have to be a little bit better with the storytelling, man, because people are able to just pick and choose now.
Right.
But that scares me, man. That scares me. But you make a great point. Ooh, John Lee, looking forward to Joyride. So good, wait. John Lee. So good.
It hasn't come out for me yet, John Lee, but I can't wait to see it. I know that you saw it already, Leo.
Oh my God. One of my faves of the year.
And speaking of blockbusters, Empire Magazine revealed an exclusive first look at Zack Snyder's latest upcoming film, Rebel Moon. In the picture there, I believe Anthony Hopkins is voicing this robot, and I am here for it. Like, I love it. I mean, I think what's fun about this is like you take away all of the WB drama with Snyder and just let him cook.
Ugh.
Right? Just let him cook. This is his world. These are his characters. He's going to do whatever he wants to do. And this is kind of interesting. I don't think we've really seen a full-on sci-fi take from Snyder. So this is going to be really interesting. What do you think about Rebel Moon, Leo?
It looks good. It looks good. Honestly, we also got the look at Charlie Hunnam and Sophia Boutella. That looks pretty cool.
Sorry, I wish I got a better picture, but
oh hell, it's all good, man. Looks good to me. But yeah, I think I'm ready to move on. I really hope that we can just watch this without a demanding of the Snyderverse stuff. Can we just like move on, enjoy Zack Snyder's next projects? Him and WB, man, they went their separate ways. Let's just focus on Rebel Moon now. Let's focus on Zack Snyder's future, not the past, because this looks awesome. Like, I love the look of that robot. And you tell me Anthony Hopkins is voicing it. Okay, I'm there, man. I'm there. But I like the
and honestly,
I like the tone, the color. But can I be honest though?
Go ahead.
Let me be honest with y'all. The color palette kind of reminds me of Man of Steel. Like, it just has that kind of dark, like kind of, I don't know, this kind of a high contrast, dark kind of look. I don't know, man. I guess the Sophia Boutella and Charlie Hunnam picture, not as much, but this one reminds me of something in that Snyder world.
To be honest, man, and this is just from what I was getting from the article, is like, he's pretty much throwing everything but the kitchen sink in this. Like, anything he's ever done, everything he's ever...
Wow.
It's like a combination of all those different styles, like some of the horror, some of the comedy, some of the action that he's really good at, to be honest. But we'll see.
His action is great.
Here's my thing with Snyder is I'm already past all of that. Like, look, Justice League was fine, but I'm over it Leo. Like just going back
I'm
to what you were
done.
saying. Like I want to see something new. I want something fresh. I actually didn't mind. What was it? What was that zombie movie he did? The one
Dawn
set
of the
in
Dead.
Vegas.
Oh, Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead. Look, I didn't
Yeah.
love it, but I enjoyed it for what it was. It was fun. Let the Snyder first die. Damn, Colby.
Yeah, for real.
We might have some fans in here. Be careful.
I'm gonna wait and see with Snyder, as he has more misses than hits for me. I'll be like Dawn, 300, and Watchmen. Oof.
To that point, Colby, man, wasn't that an era? He was like 3 for 3.
What
he
an
was just
era.
he was on fire.
That was the Zack Snyder heyday for me. And I'm gonna be real with you. If you minus all the DCEU stuff, and it was just like, okay, it was Army of the Dead next. Not a terrible track record.
Right.
In my opinion.
What's interesting is you look at Dawn of the Dead, 300, and then Watchmen. You can see why maybe WB and DC were like, hey, let's give this guy the keys, right? But
Yeah.
I think the only issue was he just kind of bit off more than he can chew. And then from what we heard, WB was kind of pushing him to catch up, right? So lots of issues there. But let's not linger on the past. That time has come and gone. At the end of the day,
let me ask you real quick. Do you know at the top of your head? Sorry to cut in and change the subject.
Oh, you good?
Do you know off the top of your head? Did he direct 302?
No, he didn't.
Okay. So because
he had nothing to do with that one. Was that one like pretty decent? I heard it was okay.
Let me check it out. So
Rise of the Empire, right?
Yeah, he wrote and produced, but he did not.
Yeah, he didn't direct it.
Sucker Punch. Oh man.
No. Honestly, that's one I will definitely like to forget
about Sucker Punch.
I would say, is Tyler in here? Because I know he's a big Legends. What's that owl movie?
Legends
the Guardians
of Gahul. Owls of Gahul.
Tyler is the one guy that liked that movie.
Here's what I'm gonna say about Sucker Punch, man. It's a bad movie, but I've seen worse. I'll just say that. It's not just like absolute bottom of the bed. Who am I kidding, man? It ain't that great. Let me stop trying to defend.
Yeah, but we'll see. Zack Snyder isn't who we thought he was, but we'll see what he's got for us in store when this does release. And let's get to the big news of the hour, the top story. I was saving the best for last here. Superman Legacy finally finds its Lois Lane and Clark Kent in David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan, respectively. This has been a long anticipated big build up to this. They were doing the casting calls and they had all these rumors. Nicholas Holt's name was in the mix at one point.
Yep. Emma Mackey.
And what's funny is we're still kind of in the air with Lex Luthor, and I think that's going to be interesting. I heard Alexander Skarsgård's in the mix, his brother's in the mix, Bill Skarsgård. And I think whichever way they go there, maybe Nicholas Hoult comes back in, maybe I would love to see it. But what do you think about this casting at this point, Leo?
Man, I think this is A1 because, okay, I was Team Mackey. Y'all know I was Team Emma Mackey. But Rachel Brosnahan has the chops. I've seen clips of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I'm going to actually start it up tonight because I'm so curious. But just based off the clips alone, I've always wanted to watch it. She's great in everything I've seen her in. So I'm like, listen, casting her as Lois Lane sounds like a great idea to me. I'm down for this. I think David Cornsweet has the look. God, somebody said he looked like dude from Smallville. And I was like, okay, he kind of does. Yeah, he does look like Tom Welling a little. Because a lot of people have been like, oh, he's just the budget Henry Cavill. And I was like, actually, he looks more like Tom Welling. When I saw the two of them like side by side, I was like, oh. But you know what? Somebody made a great point. They all look like Superman.
Yeah.
They all look like Superman.
And, give it to the internet because, good news, bad news, whining, complaining, happy, there's always a reaction. And I just found it so funny. Like, oh, he's too small to be Superman. He could work out. I mean, come on, guys. Like, people were saying, like, oh, he's not buff enough. It's like he could look at Christian Bale. He went, I don't know if you guys remember this. Christian Bale went from like sub 100 pounds to like plus 200 to be Batman. You can transform your body. All that matters to me is that you get to get a good actor. And as we've already highlighted, he's got a good face for it. He's got the look. And if you guys have seen Pearl, he had a pretty good performance in there. I'm not familiar with his other work, but I did like him in Pearl. He seems like a good guy. So we'll see when we get the final product.
Yeah, I think I really liked him in Pearl, and he was really good in Hollywood. And he plays like a dude raised on a farm, and I'm like,
Nice.
okay, yep, he's got it. He's got the chops. He's
got the country boy thing going on.
Yeah, man. And you know what? I actually was not a big fan of Hollywood, but I really liked his character a lot. And so I think he's gonna go really well with the Superman role. This is a great comment here from G. Colby. Likes that they picked like kind of up and comers instead of like the big A-listers. I'm with you there, man. Like, and you know what? I would say besides Holt, the whole pack was kind of like that. I would say Holt being the closest to like an A-lister, like a more known, but everybody else was kind of like, oh, okay. The dude who was not David Cornsweet or Nicholas Holt, there was like one other guy in the running. I was like, who?
So Jaren's is saying David's 3 inches taller than Cavill. Cavill's like what, 6'2", 6'1"?
Oh yeah, David Cornsweet is huge.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's like a super tall. He's 6'4".
Okay.
I'm like, geez, yeah, we're all gonna be like, what up, Dave? Kevin Davis coming through with the box office prediction.
Welcome,
Blue
Kevin.
Beetle gonna bomb.
Yeah, we'll see it. It's not looking good. I mean, just following the Flash, I mean, they got to hit it out of the park. And honestly, as someone that's kind of has no skin in the game, I'm not really a huge Blue Beetle guy. I don't know, man. He's not a known character, and maybe Cobra Kai fans come out, but I don't know.
Is there enough? You know what I mean? I'm just like, I was thinking like if they can really capture like Cobra Kai and just a Hispanic Latino audience, if they can really get those audiences, like maybe we can really be in a good place here. But I don't know, man. Saying the Marvels will make money. Yeah, for sure. It's making a lot.
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, I think MCU kind of has a built-in audience at this point. I mean, that's just a given. I actually want to highlight this. Colby thinks Brendan Fraser's rumored to play Puck.
Oh,
interesting.
Whoa, dude! I wouldn't mind down for that. Yeah, I'd be so down for that.
Wouldn't mind it. I mean, as much
as I like Rooker, but
yeah, I like the idea of Michael Rooker, but I mean, coming off the Oscar win and the resurgence of Brendan Fraser, I would love this actually.
Right? I'm super down for that. He's huge. He looks short. Really, Josan? Everybody in Hollywood's like looking up at him.
Right. No, in my defense, Josan, I did pick a picture where Rachel's towering over him, so my bad.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Chili Boy is asking, y'all got to come out and support Blue Beetle, you guys.
Yeah, that should be like a Black Panther like event. It really should. I feel like they're not marketing that enough. But I have a feeling Blue Beetle will do as much as Shazam 2. Yeek.
Oh,
yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, but he's not a tent pole. Because, like, here's what you do. So here's how Marvel has really done it, man. You get your Superman legacy out first. Then you have like Blue Beetle like show up and be this scrappy, cool little kid in the movie, and then you're like, oh, you know what? I kind of like that Blue Beetle guy, and then they make a movie off of him. But
no, that would have been a much better play, to be honest. And look, Josan's touching on that. He said, if Blue Beetle is going to be in the new DCU, does that mean it's the first movie? And Josan, this is going to be confusing. Apparently, no. Apparently, the brand new DCU will start with Superman Legacy. So it's just confusing because Aquaman and Blue Beetle are the leftovers. And for general audiences, that's really confusing, especially with what the Flash did and with what happened at the end of the Flash. If you guys haven't seen it, it's just really a mess right now. And hopefully after Superman Legacy, we get more consistency. But
let me confuse you even more. Let me confuse you even more because James Gunn said that Blue Beetle is a DCU character. So I'm like, okay, so the movie is not, but he is. I'm so lost, man. I'm up in the air. I don't know what's going on here with this universe. I I wish they would have just done Blue Beetle later. Like, honestly, if they were going to do the reboot, put Blue Beetle a little down the line. Get him a cameo in this, or like a Batman Brave and the Bold or something. Maybe more like this. Give him like some kind of goofy, cool little scene in this one. And it's like, oh, who is this guy? You go from
here,
there.
Larry's got it said perfectly. Blue Beetle is the first character from the new DCU, but the Superman Legacy will be the first movie, which again, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But piggybacking off what you said, Leo, they're setting up Blue Beetle for failure at this point. Like, I think you're right. They should have saved this, like, build up the universe the right way. And, you know, he's not the character to come save the DCE, whatever you want to call it right now. He's not. I mean, the Flash couldn't do it, and I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's honestly, we'll have to wait and see. I wish Gunn just like waited. I wish they would have just waited for that announcement, man. Just wait.
But yeah,
wait
man,
until
that
Aquaman
wraps it up.
2. Yeah, man, we can talk a little bit about that Indiana Jones, man, because you fresh out, man. So you saw it twice?
Yeah. I just, you know, out of respect for James Mangold, and as someone that I had the VHS box set of the first original Indiana Jones trilogy.
Nice.
But hold on, before we get started, we gotta do it properly. We gotta.
We do. We gotta introduce this segment, don't we? Yes. I almost forgot that, man. I'm so glad. And then it's crazy because as soon as you said that, wow, you got the hat on.
Yo,
oh my goodness.
So
that's great.
You know, now we get a little more comfortable here. Yeah, man. Look, I grew up with the character, and the second time around, I liked it a little bit better, but it's not a film that I love. It definitely feels like in the vein of Toy Story 4, where it's a good film, but was it necessary? Is it just there to make money? That's the hard thing with the whole thing. But you want me to dig in on the thoughts?
Yeah,
of the
dig
film
in,
overall?
man. I gotta grab my hat.
All right, y'all. While Leo finds his headwear, no spoilers, obviously, but I will say the action sequences were really well choreographed. Especially the sequence in New York and the sequence in was it Tangier? But I mean, minus the action sequences, it felt like something was missing. And I don't want to discredit the cast, which was phenomenal. A lot of talent on board. Antonio Banderas, Phoebe Waller-Bridge was amazing. I loved her.
Hold on, no, Antonio. 5 minutes in the movie, Banderas.
Well, I was gonna say it's a glorified cameo, but it was nice to see him, and he, for what it was worth, he made his lines count. For what it was worth. And you know, oh man, it warmed my heart. Sala's entrance warmed my heart because he was always my favorite from the trilogy. And then eventually he became Gimli in Lord of the Rings, and you know, got into my heart that way as well. But it just felt like something was missing, and I think part of it is like, I know James Mangold and Harrison Ford both wanted to touch on the reality of the character of aging and what it's like to deal with that. And look, I get that. Like Logan did that very well in a very somber, heartfelt way. But there's a part of me also that look, don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying we can't touch on the fact that Indiana Jones got old, but part of why I was so enamored with Indiana Jones as a child was the escapism and getting away from the real world and just living with this this pulpy, iconic character that's like timeless. That's why I love Indiana Jones. And I'm not saying I don't want to see old man Indiana Jones, but it was kind of a downer. Like, even compared to like Crystal Skull, which dealt with it, Crystal Skull for me was still a fun, good time. I liked his banter with Shia. I liked the father-son relationship in that one. But as much as him and Phoebe did that in this one, it was kind of depressing. And I'll be honest, even towards the end, which I liked, I'll be honest, I did shed a tear, just kind of realizing this is probably Harrison's last go around. And I thought the ending was touching and it hit the right notes, but ultimately I didn't love this one. Just final word on that. So
I'm be real with you, man. I feel the exact same way in terms of not loving it. I had some fun. I was entertained. I really enjoyed like the romp and the adventure again. And G. Colby said her Phoebe Waller-Bridge was annoying. I liked her character a lot, actually. I
Yeah, I
actually
liked her, but I can
really
see
liked
why
that
people would
character
say
a
that.
lot.
So.
I could see, but I actually really liked the character a lot, and I was really, I was enjoying her at her like portrayal, and I thought that she was a little bit different than Indie Light. I know some people say she was kind of Indie Light, but I was like, I think she was a little bit different than that, but maybe that's just me. I really liked Harrison Ford being back. I didn't like the de-aging tech. I thought the de-aging looked a little uncanny valley. I was like, I don't know, man. Little much for me, a little much.
Hey, we almost got into Flash territory with a couple of those shots.
I mean,
he was looking a little waxy.
Like, whoa, man. And some of that green screen, I was like, listen, bro. See, and that's where that $300 million went toward. This is an over $300 million movie. I'm like, oh, it probably went toward that de-aging, a lot of it.
Really quick, Leo, can I touch on that?
Yeah, go for it.
So, I mean, again, no spoilers, but there is an extended sequence with a de-aged Harrison Ford, and the first shot is actually a money shot. It looks good.
It is. When we see it in the yeah, we see it in the trailer.
It's in the trailer, but then it kept going, and I was like, oh, they're running with this. And it kept going, and I was like, wow, they really did that. And that was my least favorite part of the movie. It took me out of it a little bit, and it didn't look natural. So
yeah, it really did not look natural, and it just looked a little weird. And hey, what's going on, Manica?
What's up, Money?
Good to see you. Thanks, Money. Appreciate you
so
stopping
tired.
by. Huh?
No, I was just looking at her comment. She's so tired.
Is that from I've Been Meaning To?
Oh yeah, that's her.
Yeah, what's going on? Good to see you in the chat.
Welcome to the show.
I'm with you though. I'm with you. The way I view legacy sequels, I'm starting to get tired of the de-aging. I think at this point, listen, Last Crusade, they brought in River Phoenix for what, 20, 30 minutes in the movie, and he did great. Do that. Like, I think Larry was the one who made the joke, like, bring in Alden Ehrenreich, and it's like, oh, there you go. He plays young Solo, young Indiana. But it's like, bring in just a young cat to be like a younger Indiana Jones. I know peak Indiana is like Harrison Ford and that, but like, come on, man. If they gave him the hat, the whip, we know who it is, bro. I'm cool with the younger guy being Indiana Jones over the de-aging tech. I'm a little sick of that, man.
And John brings up a good point, because this actually shows in that sequence. He never saw so many people get punched in the face and not have any bruises or broken hands.
For real. Like, okay, how do you not even have a black eye, my man?
Yeah, his face was rubber.
Yeah, I think there's just a little too much going on with de-aging, and I hope we all seen the Flash with that mess. Full on CGI and bodies now, like it's so weird, getting to be weird. They go, man. I'm telling you, G. Colby, that de-aging, that's expensive, and not to mention they got Antonio Banderas in this. He's not cheap. So, I mean, they've got some expensive stuff. And then, like, some of the other visual effects in the movie, and it's a 2.5 hour movie.
And also, dare I say, because I love the guy, but not Mads' best performance. I felt or maybe it was the script.
I thought it was good, but it was very Mads. Like, it was very just kind of like, oh.
It was very run of the mill, don't you think?
Yeah, it was kind of just like, oh, another Mads villain. Like, okay.
He was just checking the boxes like, I'm very intelligent and I will take this MacGuffin from you. Like, like it was just checking the boxes. Like the villain shows up and spoils that whatever they were doing. And then
I like him. I like him. What I don't like is that it's like Nazis again. I'm like, we dealt with this already. We deal with this all the time. What was Captain America? Nazis. What was it? I'm thinking of Tarantino's movie.
Inglourious Basterds,
Wonder Woman. We've done the Nazi thing over and over and over and over and over. And here we are doing it again in a franchise that's already done it. Come on now.
Colby said, Doctor Strange, Mads. Well, I mean, that was kind of cookie cutter too, but
no, that Doctor Strange, Mads Mikkelsen was great. Like, because he was putting
Yeah, I
in
was
some
gonna say I
work.
like that one.
Yeah, I was like, I loved his villain. He was putting in some work. Stop making movies so damn expensive. Yeah, because what's Dune? What is the budget on Dune? Let me just look that up. Dune Part 2 was actually cheaper than Part 1, and it was actually less expensive than Indiana Jones, coming in at a budget of, sorry guys, I'm trying to find the budget.
And while you're doing that, Leo, I just want to answer this, John. Some of his henchmen, I don't think they were supposed to be German. They were just hired hands, especially the Boyd Holbrook character. He was like a southern country boy that
I'm sick of Boyd Holbrook.
Mads was just paying him off or something like that. So
I'm sick of Boyd Holbrook, man. Sick. Okay, so going back to that Doom Part 2, they're saying it's around 200 million.
okay.
And I'm like, woof, to be like over 100 million less. And the visual effects look great in comparison.
Oh, and then John, I mean, I think he's just fitting in with the group, especially from what they were trying to do in that final act. No spoilers, but from what they were trying to do in the final act, that's why. So.
Yeah, certainly. But Doom Part 2 not going to make money.
Probably not.
Probably not. It's one of those, but it's gonna clean up an award season, I think.
For sure.
It's gonna clean up an award season, and it'll make up for it with that, I believe. To be honest,
this is a good question. I would say yes. I didn't love the Uncharted movie, and I like Tom Holland.
Yeah, as well. I definitely agree with you, but I liked Indiana Jones 5. I definitely could say I'm slightly disappointed because I really wanted to be back in that like original 3. I wanted to be in the big 3 era again, and there are some things that do bring us back to that. Harrison Ford certainly takes us back to that with the adventure, with going to different places and exploring like exploring underwater a little bit and exploring another cave, and like I'm super cool with all that. I love it. I really liked Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I thought she was good, but yes, the Uncanny Valley visuals in the beginning, the de-aging, not good. And then I'm going to be real, guys, the last 20 to 30 minutes of this movie, I did not like. Now, I know Temple of Doom has some like kind of spiritual, cultish, like burning off faces type of, I know, but it's not necessarily supernatural. And I think that we went a little far here with that. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to leave y'all with that because I know some haven't watched it yet. But we just pushed the boundaries a little far, I think. And I was like, I like Indiana Jones being like speculative. I like it being like grounded and down to earth, really. And I know, and even out of the 3, like Temple of Doom is that one that's like the strangest of the 3. But it's like, this was, in my opinion, even more over the top than that. Like you're dealing with a demonic cult with that one, whatever. Here, you're dealing with something different. I was like, I didn't want Indy to do that, man.
Yeah.
And there was one way it was about to end, and I'm about to tell you, it was about to ruin the movie for me. Ooh, I think you know what I'm talking about. And
I know what you're talking about. We'll talk about that after the show. But I think also, like, I like the ambition of it because it's very ambitious, and it is different from like what we've seen. But at the same time, I think to your point, Leo, the second time I saw it, there's so many plot holes. But if you don't think about it too much, if you just turn your brain off, sure, whatever, just roll with the logic. That's the kind of moment it is, and it's not good or bad for me, but yeah, I wanted more, Leo. I wanted more out of this. So
yeah, I wanted a little bit more. I just wanted, I don't know. Again, I wanted to be in that tier of the top 3, and I know that's an impossible ask, but more over the top than Aliens.
No spoilers, but yes, Colby, we take it another step from that.
Yeah, I just think that I was like, I didn't want Indy to go in that direction. You know what I mean? And it felt so weird in the end, like just shoehorned in. I'm like, So, is it better than The Flash? Not in my opinion. I'm gonna be real. No.
You know what it was too? I feel like a lot of the humor didn't hit. I don't know how you felt about that, Leo.
Yeah, there was some like, oh, you're supposed to chuckle, that I was like, I'm not laughing.
Right. No, and it's like all 4, even like I said, I'm not a Crystal Skull defender, but all 4 of those films, I have a lot of fun with, and I actually laugh, and there's not as much joy in this, and that's my biggest thing. It's like
Yeah.
I go to see Indiana Jones to have fun and be happy, and I was kind of down most of the time because it was kind of depressing a little bit. So
Yeah, it's like you want to have fun. You want to be like indie, like you want to feel like that. You want to feel that nostalgia, that tinge of like. But what helps with movies like No Way Home and Spider-Verse is they rope it in with a great story. The nostalgia is basically a cameo to like a phenomenal story, and it serves to the characters, the themes, and the plot of the movie. Here, it just the story's not strong. Nostalgia doesn't hold up. Um, Mad showed up so fast. I know he was just in places, wasn't he? Just
I
showing
mean,
up.
that's a lot of stories, to be fair, John. But I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Oh, G. Colby was saying what when it comes to the Flash? We'll take it with a grain of salt. I like the Flash. A lot of people didn't. So
Right.
I mean, for me personally,
Oh wait, hey,
yes.
Leo, did you answer this from Josan?
Yeah, I said yeah. I thought it was the Flash was better.
Oh,
Yeah,
hot take.
listen. I like the Flash a lot. I gave it 8.5 out of 10. I really
You
like
know
it.
what? I think I agree with you. I think I agree with you because
I'm
I
gonna be
actually
real.
really enjoyed the Flash a lot more than I thought I would. The only thing that got me with Dial was I did get a little emotional at the end, but I think that was just the nature of what Dial represents. So I don't think it was so much the film, but it was just knowing it's probably
yeah,
Harrison's last go round. So
right. And did this feel like a fitting into you? I was like, this
okay,
didn't feel like a
I
fitting
hate
into
to
me.
do the spoilers, and I'm not going to, but no, it didn't. If anything, I loved Crystal Skull's ending. I loved that ending, and this kind of just deconstructed that in a lot of ways. And
Yeah. Ooh, off topic, but someone please tell me that I'm not the only one who has Across the Spider-Verse soundtrack stuck in their head. Absolutely.
I love
Absolutely.
that theme now with the drums, got a
Yeah,
little
it's
bit of
so
rock
good,
edge
man.
to it. Yes,
I've been bumping that hummingbird, man. That hummingbird. Woo!
that might be the soundtrack for the summer right there, guys.
Right there, baby. I'm like, that old hummingbird. You drop the windows, bro. Go for a
And
night
then, so
drive.
just to touch on this really quick, Last Crusade is the #1 ending for me. And then,
Period.
if we were gonna end with Crystal Skull, I wouldn't have minded that either. So that was my issue as well.
At least Indy 5 enjoyable.
The action's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. I would say, yeah, it's fun. It's
I think
enjoyable.
the New York set piece was really cool. It was cool seeing Indy on the
Mhm.
horse again in New
Yeah.
York of all places. So that was fun. But
Right. That horse scene was awesome. But
y-
I would say I was riding at like a nice little 7.5 up until that last 20, 30 minutes. And I was like, oof, that just dropped me down a whole point.
right. No, and to be fair, I think minus the de-aging thing, the first act was really, I was on board. Like you were
Yeah,
saying, I was
same.
on board. And then it does kind of drag in the second act. And then when we get to that final act, like it's just so like I wasn't prepared for it. I was just like, oh, I was just like, we're doing this. And then we did it. And I was like, oh, we did that. I was just like, so.
It's crazy, bro. Yeah, the third act really threw me off big time.
And then it's so hard to talk about this without spoiling, but it's like 10 to 15 minutes into the third act. I was like, still processing. I was like, damn, we really did this. Huh. And
Right? It was kind of like,
it's like it
oh,
takes you out of the movie because I'm thinking about what they did versus what's happening in the movie.
there's like one literal part in the movie where like it starts happening where I was like, wait, are we really gonna do that? Are we really gonna? I was like, oh,
Yeah. So
like
I
as soon
think
as it did that, I was like, ooh,
so as much as like you want films to spark things in you, I think you don't want to have a conversation with the film while it's on.
right.
And that was just making me ask questions. I was like, wow. So okay, wait, so and I was just like overthinking everything about that final act. Like,
Ooh, look, best animated nomination features Disney with Pixar, Elemental, Sony, Spider-Man, Universal, Super Mario Bros.
makes sense.
Yeah, that sounds like a good lineup. Spider-Verse is taking that, and
Oh hell yeah. If Mario wins, we riot.
we riot.
We
Now,
boycott.
hear me out, guys. I do think that Spider-Verse gets a nomination for Best Picture. Maybe I'm wrong, but I do think it's hitting that Best Picture nomination. I win, probably not, but I think he gets nominated.
This is an interesting point. So Wesley's saying his issue with Dial and Skull is that they took out a lot of the horror elements that Raiders, Doom, and Crusade had.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah,
Great
I
point.
wouldn't have minded some of that in the last two entries. So that's a good point.
Mm-hmm. I think that would have been a more interesting thing to do, like not have it being able to happen and it was all a myth. Yeah, that actually would have been pretty cool.
That
Like
would have been on board.
That would have been dope.
Yeah.
Because think about like the implication. Ooh, John Lee speaking, dog.
Yeah, man. I think that would have made for a more interesting finale, maybe, instead of what we got.
Honestly, I kind of would have liked that. Like, imagine throwing so many things into question. Like, wait, what? The whole time.
That'd be interesting. And can I also say one thing? Because I know we didn't talk about her enough. I really liked Phoebe's monologue in the final act.
Same
like that actually got me emotional too, because she was us. Like, she is like voicing the fans, like what she was saying, and so that was good. I felt that.
JHC, we're jumping ahead there with that one. Best pick to Oppenheimer. I don't know about that, man.
Yeah, well, we got to see the critic reaction first, and box office won't really matter much. But yeah, we got to see the critic reaction first.
Calling it now. Another nomination I think makes it on is Past Lives.
I hope so.
Oh, have you seen Nimona yet?
I haven't.
Oh man, that's on Netflix now, y'all. Y'all got to check out Nimona. Larry's hoping it gets a nomination. Animation. It was really, really good. Talk about like just this movie that kind of takes like medieval and high fantasy, kind of flips it on its head. They're like in the more futuristic version of that. They've got cell phones and stuff and flying cars. It's actually really cool. And yeah, just this Black Knight and this rebel monster chick. It's really cool, guys. Like, you got to check that out on Netflix. I just did a reaction on the main channel. Lots and lots of fun.
And to touch on this,
about Past Lives too.
It's very much before sunset light. Very simple, but really well acted, well written, just a really well made film. And it's so simple at its core, but it really tugs in your heartstrings, and it's performed really well. I loved Past Lives. That's in my top 5 for sure.
Oh, Jack Black for Best Supporting Actor. No, sir. No, sir. I'm really excited to watch Past Lives.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Know about that.
Wait, who's the director for Challengers?
Past Lives and Challengers is married. I was like, oh, okay. Who is the director for Luca?
Oh, no way. Did not know that.
I did not know that either. Okay. Wow. Wait, what? Hold on. I'm like looking it up now.
Looks like Larry enjoyed it as well.
Celine Song is with Luca? Huh, I don't know about that one. Yeah, hoping Past Lives gets in.
Did we want to touch on Secret Invasion or?
Sure, I'm down. I will admit I haven't watched it in about 4 weeks, but
well, actually, no.
The screenwriters.
I'm only halfway through. Oh, the screenwriters.
Oh, yeah, no, we could totally skip on that one this week. But I gotta tell you, Lo, you gotta check out that Nimona, bro. Okay. What I really liked about Nimona is like it was such a fresh animation style. And let me give you guys a little background on Nimona. So it's a graphic novel, and Disney was actually producing it. Blue Sky Studios, which was under 20th Century Fox. They did Ice Age and some other popular IP. They did those, and they were bought out by Disney. It was in development through Blue Sky, and then Blue Sky got closed, so Disney canceled Nimona. Netflix and Annapurna picked it up, and now here we are with this cool, fresh, new idea. It really does change the graphic novel up quite a bit, I believe. I haven't read the graphic novel, but I just kind of seeing some of the premise, it really changes it. But there's like, it's basically the premise is this Knight Ballister is like banished for a deed that he does in the kingdom, and like he teams up with Nimona to really like one clear up his name and really take down the corrupt system that's going on the top. But really love it. It has some brilliant themes and messages, honestly, messages of acceptance. And it very much, I think it really is like an allegory for the treatment of LGBTQ individuals. And I think that it's just a phenomenal film. I mean, I think it tries to teach kids and everyone to just love and accept people for who they are and who they are, not because of who they love, not because of how they look, not because if they can shapeshift, or not if they can love someone of the same gender. Love them for who they are and forget the rest of that stuff. Why does it matter if they can shapeshift? Why does it matter if they love someone of the same sex? You should love them for who they are. So I love that it really carries that message strongly throughout the film. I think I agree with Larry here in the comments. I think some of the humor kind of misses sometimes. There's some misses in the humor. And the third act kind of gets a little rushed, but otherwise, great movie. Riz Ahmed was Ballister. Chloe Grace Moretz was
Love her.
Oh, she was great. She was Nimona, and she was like phenomenal as the character. She's like rebel, and she's super metal, and just this like super rebellious teen character. She's great. And then Eugene Lee Yang was Ambrosius, really just this like holy knight type of character, like the hero look like character of the city. But him and Ballister have a relationship, and it's wonderful. Like honestly,
that's a great name.
Love the
Ambrosius.
Ambrosius. I know. I was like, I love that name, Ambrosius.
That was the dog in Labyrinth.
Yeah, man. I love it. It just bounces off the tongue so well. But I really liked Nimona a lot. And honestly, I'm with Larry. I hope it gets nominated. I think it came in. We were both talking yesterday at Fan Expo, and it was like, yeah, like honestly, I've got Nimona, Suzume, and Spider-Verse in my top 10 of the year right now. 3 animated
Suzume
movies.
was so good.
So good. I mean, tear jerking, man. that director, man. I'm like, watch out, Miyazaki now. You gotta look.
Yeah, no, he's one to watch. He's putting out some bangers.
He's putting out some bangers, man, because at Your Name as well, Weathering with You. Listen, man, I'm like, he's killing it, man.
And side note from Blue Sky, but I actually enjoyed the Peanuts movie. That had a really cool look to it too. It almost looked stop motion, but it wasn't.
I like the first Ice Age too. I thought the first Ice Age was fresh and cool and fun. But God, they drug that series to the ground. Woof. It's seeing Chloe Grace Moretz in something good because have been dookie. Remember the Fifth Wave and Carrie.
I try not to remember that, Colby, but she was great as Hit Girl.
She was great as Hit Girl. Great. Anything you watched this week, Lo?
Besides Indiana, I had a marathon up to that point, so no, nothing new. And I tried to watch Secret Invasion. I didn't get through the second episode, but man, Ben Mendelsohn and Sam Jackson got such good chemistry, man. I finished the sequence in the train.
When they kind of get into
man. When they kind of get at each other a little bit, I was like, whoa, this is great. This is acting 101 right here. Like,
also when Samuel L. Jackson was describing the dinner his mom would cook, I was like, that sounds hella good. I love that. Man.
The thing with Sam Jackson is he's just a good storyteller. He could make anything sound interesting. Like he could go to like a freaking McDonald's and make it sound interesting. Like, you know what I did at McDonald's?
Like, I'm tuned in. I'm zoned in, man. Check this out from Wesley. Spider-Verse is far and above the best movie of the year. Would you agree?
I wouldn't blame anybody for saying that.
Is that your number one, or is yours Past Lives?
I'm gonna be honest. Man, Past Lives is pretty close to my number one, but they're like neck and neck.
Neck and neck, right on. I think Past Lives will be in my top as well.
Leo, did you mute yourself? I can't hear you.
I did accidentally hit mute.
I was so
Oops.
confused.
I
What were you
accidentally
saying?
hit this button right here. But yeah, Monty, I really want to see The Blackening big time. I
Hey,
have not.
Monty, I was gonna say it was really funny, and I liked it. Totally subverted my expectations, but it wasn't what I wanted it to be. But it was fun for what it was.
Oh man, don't tell me that, man.
No, but hey, it's a good time in the theaters. That's all I'll say. Like it's a good popcorn flick for sure.
Yeah. Please point out I get triggered about talking about it.
Joe
They didn't
Sun
want to
said you
send me a
muted
link.
yourself.
No, they didn't want to send me a link.
Oh damn, that sucks.
Across the Spider-Verse and Guardians top 2. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, dude, Guardians stole my heart. That's why it's like
Yeah,
that.
no, you're.
Like my 3 is Guardians Across and Past Lives, but they're like so close to each other for me. Like,
Yeah, I'm excited for Past Lives. Haven't seen Past Lives either, Wesley. I'm waiting for it to come to VOD, y'all. I'm doing a little reaction because I know I'll probably cry, and apparently people like
and
me crying. So
to touch on this one, John, I feel this like at the same time though, like I think a lot of it was just the direction, and no offense to Tim Story. Tim Story did the first couple Fantastic Fours. I think Taxi with Queen Latifah and Jimmy Fallon, and a couple other things. But I don't know. I'm just not a fan of his directing style. It's just very TV, if that makes sense. Like it's very bland the way that
yeah,
it's shot. I was kind of
you,
hoping for a little bit more style with The Blackening, a little bit more like if you're gonna do like a parody on horror, have fun with it. It just it was very shot, very like sitcomish, like
I'm
the
just
way it's
you know what? I'm cool with that because
yeah.
I'm ready to hear the jokes about the Kool-Aid and the barbecues and the.
Hey, I
I'm
will
ready.
say this: the script is really witty, even though some of the stuff is predictable. The jokes are funny,
I'm
really
so
funny.
ready for that shit. I'm ready. John Wick 4 is still one of the top movies for John Lee. Yeah, that's in my top as well. John Wick 4 easily in that. Ooh, he said basically another Peyton Reed. Ooh, wee.
Yikes! Yeah, honestly, I think The Blackening could have been a instant classic with a stronger director, and that's just me. But
I'm with you, man. Honestly, sometimes that's all it boils down to. All 3 of those are in Larry's 2023 montage. So, guys, if you
nice.
haven't checked it out, head on over to Chili Boy Productions after the stream, y'all. Check out the 2023 montage, guys, of the best films so far of 2023. And with that, Lo, let us know where the people can find you and what you got coming up, man. What's going on in Lo's world?
All right, y'all. You can follow me on Twitter and Letterboxd at Marcellus Durden. I'm a proud reviewer, critic, writer, editor for the Cinema Spot. Got a jack of all trades hat over at the Cinema Spot. Check us out at the Cinema Spot on all socials. I'm going to do an Indiana Jones review, and I'm lagging on my Asteroid City review, but that's all coming. Hopefully within this next week, I'll pump those out and get those out. So check that out at thecinemasspot.com.
Cinemaspot.com, baby. Man, go check it out, man. Go check it out, guys, at the Cinema Spot and at Marcellus Durden, y'all. The ranking is coming. It's coming. So be on the lookout. Guys, over here on the main channel here on Geekly Goods, hit that subscribe button on Geekly Goods Live if you haven't yet. But head on back to the main channel, guys. We got a review coming up for Joyride this week, which I had a lot of fun with. I've got my Nimona review coming. I'm a little delayed on that. And then also My Adventures with Superman. Got a couple reaction videos coming up for that, guys. But the review can be found on the channel. And so far, it has been a lot of fun, guys. That's coming up this next week, y'all. But hey, if you're new to the channel, y'all know the drill. Hit that subscribe button and come on back next week. Same time, same place for the movie news of the week, guys. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next week.